when we prepare for success, most of us actually do the opposite. When we think we're preparing for success, what ultimately ends up happening is most of the time, believe it or not, because I talk about a roadmap quite often when it comes to being successful, finding your groove, right? We don't want to ever go into anything blind. But believe it or not, 90% of Americans will focus. And I shouldn't even say Americans. And I'm not going to say entrepreneurs. I should say human beings. When in fact, 90% of us, when we think we're doing the right thing, or we're preparing to better ourselves or our businesses or our lives, we actually focus on the exact opposite. What I mean by that is we'll sit there and say, what if this doesn't work out? What's my plan B? I'm going to be down to my last $1,000 and then what? So we'll think about all the negatives in hopes that it doesn't become a reality, when what we should really be doing is spending most of our time reversing that map. So what is the key to success? And this is a subjective answer. But for me, I'm not even going to put it out there. But for me, it was always good habits. And you'll hear us talk often and frequently about daily habits. So if we can establish a few core habits that I believe that are truly important, then I think the outcome that we're looking for, we can find. And when I talk about a roadmap, what I mean by that is defining a vision. You have to have both eyes open. And in all actuality, when we're doing things, most of the time, we're not thinking or seeing clearly. We're overcomplicating things. Again, if you can define a vision and then set your goals, create a clear path, and it doesn't always have to be the path of least resistance or the path of most resistance. But if you can define your vision and set your goals, then you have a roadmap. Now, I'm going to get into a little more detail when I talk about this, okay? So again, what you need to do is you need to define what success means to you. What is it? What for you, what is the goal? And it could be in life and it can be in business. It doesn't matter. Because on my personal path, right, what I want out of life, we need money. We need money to be comfortable. That's all money was ever supposed to do for us. It was supposed to make us comfortable, not greed, not being filthy rich, right? And again, it's all subjective, but all money's supposed to do is make us comfortable. We need it. We need it. The more we have, the more comfortable. For me, I use that not as a vice where it has a stronghold on me. I use it as a freedom tool to be able to do the things in life that allow me to not only define my vision, but to attack it. So when we talk about clarifying or figuring out exactly what success means to you, this is what I want you to do. And this is going to sound silly to some people, or it might make a lot of sense. But when I talk about defining your vision and clarifying what success means to you, I want you to put it in writing. I want you to create a vision board. It's one thing to wake up every day and have your goals set. It's another thing to stare them in the face. And I thought this was silly. Okay. Some of the people that were my mentors, who still are my mentors, they'd always talk about wealth charts and they talk about vision boards. And I said, well, why do I need that? Right? I know where I want to be. I know what my goals are. I don't need to see them. You know why? Because I was concerned that if somebody came over or walked through my front door that they'd see everything that I was reaching for, or I was embarrassed of it. Embarrassed of what? Of my goals? So you got to get past that. The first thing that you should be doing is creating a vision board. A vision board is so important. And I'm going to give you a little story. About 4 years ago, I've been at EXP for 4.5 years. EXP has completely changed my life. Not just financially. It's opened my eyes. About 4 years ago, I created a vision board. And on that vision board, could you imagine some of the things I had up there? On that vision board, I had a new house. I had vacations. I had a new car. I had Z's because I wanted to rest, right? I knew if I could rest more. I'd have hit my goals at that point. So I had all of these things on my vision board. Oh my gosh, I think I had the house, I had the trips, I had the rest, I had the new vehicle, I had all of it. And now that was all on my board. Mind you, this is 4 years ago. This wasn't 20 years ago. This was 4 years ago. I stared at it. I woke up every single day. When Coach talks about being fanatical, I was fanatical, right? And this was before me and Coach were even partners almost. I would look at that vision board. And sure enough, the funny thing was I started checking things off. Or I started crossing things off. The trips, I just got back from another one. The new house, I'm standing in it. The new vehicles, the rest, the freedom, all of it came true. All of it. Let me ask you something. Did you think those were the things that I personally wanted only 4 years ago? What about 6 years ago? What about 8 years ago? Of course I wanted those things. And I said to myself, I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there. Coincidentally, it wasn't until I created that vision board. And I'm going to tell you something else. I'm going to tell you something that wasn't on that board. And again, remember, success is so subjective, guys. But happiness wasn't on that board. And I thought that would come without saying. That I would maybe I'll rephrase that. Maybe it wasn't happiness because I am so blessed beyond belief. Maybe it was being whole or feeling fulfilled. So I got the house, I got the trips, I got the freedom, I got the cars. Maybe those weren't my goals. I was looking for something more. And for me, that was being whole, feeling fulfilled, having more purpose and meaning. And that's when I realized that really what my goals were, what I was preparing for as far as success, was showing others how to get there. And I think that's something that we do here on a weekly basis on private calls with some of you guys, others that, maybe haven't spoken to us one-on-one because our organization is very deep and it's only going to continue to grow. But believe me when I tell you, for me, that's what I want for others. That is far more important. Been able to provide for my family. My family's been able to, we do it together, right? We figured that out. There is something, and I think that's my love language, is giving. Yeah, whether it's assistance in a transaction, helping you navigate a tough deal, making recommendations for the right professionals, putting an excellent team around you, helping you find the confidence in yourself. That's what I've realized. That's what I realized my goal was, what my vision was. It wasn't until I created that vision board where I defined a vision that I realized that's not even what I was looking for. What I was looking for was on the other end of that. Had I not figured that out, and again, it's so subjective because what I define, what I consider successful, may not be the same for you. And that's okay. That's okay. It's not supposed to be. You have to figure out what your goals are, and you have to follow them. But if you don't have a clear path, if you don't practice strong, good daily habits, how can you expect to get there? And you just can't. So instead of going into life with one eye opened, go in with both. Commit to yourself. Success, it's a bunch of keys, guys. And there's a bunch of locks. And here's the best part about it. Not only do you have the keys, you have the locks. Everything is within you. You can figure it out. You have the ability to achieve greatness, whatever that is to you, whatever that means. Because I'm not here to tell you that you're going to find success. You're going to be successful if you sell 100 homes a year, if you attract 100 agents. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Maybe it's similar to what some of my goals are, helping others. You know, I'm not going to get religious here, right? Because, you know, we all come from different walks of life and different religions. But I truly do believe that what you put out is what you get back. I just want to give. When I tell you that's how I live my life, that's how I live my life. I try to be as selfless as humanly possible. So that's what I want you to focus on. Defining your vision, setting your goals, putting together that actual vision board, make it tangible. You know how easy it is to just get up and say, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm chasing. You know, you don't want to print pay. You don't want to get a magazine. You don't want to cut pictures out. You don't want to put it on a board. You know, you don't want to put it up in your house. That's crazy. I have, believe it or not, one that, you know, my wife did, right? And it's on our refrigerator. It's on the side of the refrigerator, right? Because there's nothing on the, I keep nothing on the front of my refrigerator, but it's on the side of my refrigerator. And, you know, we look at it every single day. We look at it every single day. And it's a personal vision board that we have for each other, right? I'm not going to get into details, but, you know, it doesn't matter who you are. As far as my wife, I mean, she's beautiful, smart. She's a CPA. She's educated, right? She's successful in her field. There's more. We want more. We have goals. We have aspirations. And it doesn't matter who you are. Put it together. Chase it. Again, I use the analogy, the GPS. Could you imagine getting in the car? And can you do it? Can you get to Florida by following the signs? Yeah, sure. You can. Do you need a GPS? No, Mike, I'm just going to follow the signs. Guys, there are no signs here. That's like you getting in the car with no compass. Forget the GPS. There's no compass. There's literally no signs. Everything is blank. And if you wake up day in and day out and you don't know where you're going, how are you supposed to get there? Think about that. If you don't know where you're going, how are you supposed to get there? Another thing that I want to touch on is mindset. Because if you can't cultivate a growth mindset, it's going to be very difficult to achieve whatever that success is for you. When you come to these calls or you're bettering yourself in life, it's something that you should be doing on a consistent basis. Embrace learning. Embrace others who have done it. The resources are readily available. It's not just a matter of coming to these calls or going to trainings at EXP, right? In the world, embrace it. A growth mindset. You know, I told my youngest, I'm getting some feedback here. Hold on, guys. And I've even had this conversation with, you know, my youngest sister. You are who you surround yourself with. And I call it the 5-1 rule. If you hang around 5 losers, you will become the 6th. And that is a hard pill to swallow. I have family I grew up with, friends I grew up with that I do not talk to on a regular basis because we just didn't have the same growth mindset. We didn't have the same mindset, period. And it's not because I didn't love those people or I don't love those people to this day. And I will see them from time to time. But unfortunately, I have to keep it moving because you become who you surround yourself with. And that pains people. Well, you know, my sibling or it could be your parents, your family, your best friends. Guys, I'm not saying never speak to these people again, but you have to choose wisely, right? Because there is a chance that maybe somewhere on your vision board, you have an opportunity to give back. So maybe some of those people, right? You can share your tutelage, right? If you can get to where you want to be, it gives you an opportunity. However, if you're stuck in the mud, doing the same thing over and over and over again, you got to find the motivation. And sometimes the motivation, albeit the confidence and motivation is within ourselves, we get a lot of that from the people we surround ourselves with. Because if you're surrounding yourself with people who've done it, people who have found similar success to what you're looking for, or trying to reach the same heights and goals that you set forth for yourself, or even people who have reached, right, that height. If you have an opportunity to just listen to a podcast from one of those people, or be in the same room and hear them speak, the amount of learning and embracing that you can take in. You know, there's an old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. It's more than that, right? You just can't shadow. You just can't take the information in. You have to perform the actions. Otherwise, what's the point? And some of that's going to come at a price. Your time. There are things that you're going to have to do for free in order to just surround yourself with these types of people. Right? Even taking time out of your day to come to a Tuesday morning or a Tuesday night. We're up here speaking from true experience, absolute brilliant stories. I had nothing in this business. I had nothing in this life. I lost my father almost a decade ago. And I had no guidance. I had debt. I was scared. Didn't know what we were going to do. Had a little bit of money that I thought would last me my entire life. It was gone in the blink of an eye. Blink of an eye. And that's part of my story. Again, what I thought, what my goals were. But for me, what I soon there shortly realized after was I needed to become a sponge. I needed to change my mindset. I needed to listen to people who have done the things that I was looking to do, but not only have done them, but have found success or had been successful. I knew that real estate was an industry or a career that I could flourish in, that I could hit my goals, my freedoms, the things that I was looking for in life. And that didn't happen right away. If you guys have heard my story once, you may have heard it a million times. I sold nothing my first year in real estate. I was another statistic. Nothing. I think I closed one rental, and I was part of a team, and that team leader who duped me into joining his team took half of the rental commission, and I still had to pay my brokerage. I think I walked away with $300. For the record, to be a part of Bright cost $460 a year, something to that effect, $480 a year. And mind you, all my startup costs, I made nothing. Do you know how easy it would have been to, and I did, I thought about it. You know how easy it would have been to say, I'm just going to give up and I'm going to quit and I'm not going to do this anymore. It didn't work. And that's the way that I thought that was. But then I had to reverse engineer my mindset. And it all came from one note from my then girlfriend, then fiance, now wife, had wrote to me that I didn't read until after my first year in real estate. And it took that note that she wrote in my planner. Believe it or not, I actually had a planner years ago. And she knew, and she wrote, I know you're going to be successful in anything that you do. I believe in you. I still have the book to this day, and I still read the note from time to time. And that's when that pivotal point, it changed everything for me. And maybe you've had your moment. Maybe you haven't. Maybe you need to find it. But at that point, I knew I could fail. I just couldn't quit. I couldn't because of my why. And have you figured out what your why is? Why is it that you do what you do? If you think you're struggling in sales, if you think you want to build an agent attraction business and you can't do it, why? You see, we can sit here and make up all the excuses in the world. But remember, you have the keys and you have the locks. You just have to find them. There is nothing overly complicated about hitting your goals. I don't care how far-fetched you believe them to be. When I tell you, again, what I had on my vision board, I thought it was just a pipe dream. All it really was a pipeline away. That's it. That's all it was. What you see today was not always here. We fast forward a lot. And you'll see that in people that you will follow in life or surround yourself with. And you shouldn't be green with envy. You should be soaking it in like a sponge, taking in as much as humanly possible, because the opportunity is yours. The information, and I'm going to pause for it because you're not going to believe what I'm about to tell you. The information that you're looking for is not only there, but it's free. Everything that you think you need, when you find out it's really within yourself, but everything that you need to know is out there. And not only is it out there, it's free. The information is free. Now, I'm not going to get into super details, but use your imagination. Every answer you're looking for is available. It's there. Part of preparing for success is obviously going to be developing skills. And if you cannot develop skills or a skill set, it's not because you aren't able to do it. It's because, again, you're not putting in the work to do it. It's very simple, guys. I talk about creating a plan, and creating a plan is extremely important. Visualizing it. The same thing applies with skill sets. How are you supposed to be great at something if you are not practicing it daily in and out? And I will use real estate as an example here. When I first got started in the business, I had no appointments, none whatsoever. Remember, I sold nothing my first year. So what did I do? I had to pivot. I said, wow, I've got to figure this out. Okay, got to sell homes. In order to sell homes, I have to be in homes. I have to develop that skill set because when I get faced with the opportunity, I want to be somewhat prepared. So what would I do? I would shadow agents. Can I go on a listing appointment with you? Can I run buyers with you? Some agents, they'd say yes, some would say no. Whatever. It was very competitive then. It's still competitive now. But the point was, I had to figure it out, to develop a skill set. I said, okay, maybe I should go out there and tour homes. Literally, they used to call it caravanning back then, but I wouldn't do it with other people. I would do it by myself. I wanted to make sure the first time I ever had to use my super key, I knew how to use it. I didn't want to look foolish or embarrassed in front of a client. I had to prepare that simple skill set. How to open a door, right? How to tour a home, the things that I should be looking for. And then when I would tour a vacant home, not only would I tour it from the perspective of a buyer, I would tour it from the perspective of a seller, as if I was going in and I was touring that home because I was getting prepared to market a home for sale, or I was running a buyer. And believe it or not, I looked for the same things. I looked for blatant defects. I wanted to see what type of siding. I wanted to notice how many layers of shingle were on the roof. I wanted to be able to find out how old the mechanics were by reading labels. I wanted to touch the materials in a house. What was the difference between, laminate or engineered wood? Things of that nature. The water pressure, flushing the toilets, making sure the grading, the pitch was proper, right? But how did I know all these things to look for? Well, I would educate myself because the information was out there and I had an opportunity to learn. Okay. And I talk about experience being the greatest teacher of them all. And that's true. It is. Well, I went out there and I created experience. I would role play with myself. I would record myself pitching my sales pitch, right, to a seller. I would work on this constantly. And then I would listen to myself and I'd say, oh, Yeah, that's good, or that's not good. Or would I list with this person that I'm listening to? And I put my own spin on things, but I developed skill sets. And over time, with repetition, with reps, just like anything else, not only did I get better at what it is that I do, I felt more comfortable. And with comfort, although it's dangerous, I found something even more dangerous: confidence. I found confidence in myself. So that's what I did. I developed the skill sets, the ones that I knew I needed to succeed in this business. To succeed in this business, not find success, but to succeed in this business. And I did it consistently. I took action. The first year, guys, when I tell you, I don't know what I was doing, obviously, because it led to nothing. Did I go to some trainings? Yeah, I went to the trainings that were provided by my broker. And I would get fired up from time to time, but after that, it was on me. And that's the thing about being an entrepreneur and doing it yourself. This is your business. This is not ours. This is yours. And that's the mindset. Those are the types of skill sets that you have to develop. Being able to fend for yourself. Right? You want to give. It's important. But you have to be able to take care of yourself. So you have to constantly take that action. Because if you're not, what are you doing? And that's what I lead into. Managing your time effectively. How could you not? We talk about creating a vision board. Do you know what you're going to do after this call? And if the answer is no, then are you managing your time effectively? It is the single greatest asset we have in life is time, and you will never get it back. Appreciate it. You'll never get this back. Money will find you. Money is finding us. It is always finding us. Time, the richest people in the world, the richest, the wealthiest, financially well off. You know the one thing they can never buy, the one thing they can never get is more time. Never. You ask some of those people what they wish they had more of. And it's time. So why is it that we are not managing our time effectively? Do you think uber successful people don't wake up early, that they don't have regiments, they don't have schedules, they don't time block? Of course they do. They love their lives. They work damn hard to get there. And they're going to take advantage of every second that they have. And whether that's working or staying busy, whatever it is, enjoy it. Life is short. Life is short. Same thing in business. If you value and you cherish your time, then manage it right. If you don't know what you're doing after this call, what you should be doing is working on these touch points. You want to find success. Work on these things. Work on your vision board. Work on your goals. Setting a clear path. Taking action. Managing your time. Surrounding yourself with the right people. And we talk about embracing, learning from others, taking in, and the information is free. Create a network. That's one thing that you can ask any successful individual entrepreneur, businessman, businesswoman. It's because that's who they're surrounding themselves with. And I go back and I say that to say this: your network is your net worth. And it's the same thing as the 5-1 rule. Who you surround yourself is who you become. Ask yourself, do these 5 people, because I guarantee we all have 5 people, 5. I don't care if it's more, I don't care if it's less. Find 5. The 5 people who you interact the most with. Is their energy bringing you down or up? Do they have the same goals as you? Are you all trying to better yourself? Because if the answer is no, and I'm not making any exceptions, can't be 4 out of 5, can't be 3 out of 5, can't be 2 out of 5, the 5 people. And guess what? If 4 out of 5 have the same goals, right? And I'm not talking about all at the same time, right? These individuals that you find, that you surround yourself with, that you speak to or you see on a decent basis, doesn't always have to be super consistent. Are their goals and visions aligned with yours? Because if they're not, it's only going to bring you down a notch. Take the time. But even with that said, you have to be able to embrace failure. That's part of success. That's part of finding it. Do you think for a second, although I've already explained this, how bad I failed my first year in the business? How bad I failed? I was able to embrace it. I was able to learn from it. And when I did that, I pivoted. I made adjustments. I'll use it as a sports reference. How about that? At halftime, whether it's basketball, whether it's football, what do you think the coaches do at halftime? They go into the locker room. Whether they're, if you're winning, you might continue on the same path, but we're talking about failure here. Okay. So let's talk about the losing squad. Okay. Going into halftime. And there's always something, whether you're winning or losing, rather when you're winning, there's still something that could be learned. The coaches know. You make adjustments. You make adjustments. So failure is good. It's crucial. It's vital. If you come blazing out and you sell 100 homes your first year, that's excellent. That's great. That's great. And if you can keep that energy or that consistency, okay, then yeah, sure, you found something there. But even if you sold 100 homes your first year, it wasn't because you got lucky. It's because you worked your butt off to get there. But what if you didn't? That's okay. Don't become another statistic. Don't be average. We've talked about this before. I'd rather be below average than average. This sounds weird, right? I'd rather be below average than average. Average is the last thing I ever want to be. I want to be above average. Go into halftime. And if this is your halftime on this call, go into halftime and make adjustments. You have the keys and you have the locks. I want you to think about that. I guess one last thing that I really want to touch on, that again, this is very similar to when I speak on my 6 pillars to success, but we're talking about preparing for success here also. And it goes hand in hand, guys. And that's taking care of yourself. You have to take care of yourself. Throw real estate out of it. Take it out of the picture. If you came here just to learn or hear about being successful in real estate, hop off the call. You don't want to be here for the next 5-10 minutes. This right here is so important and crucial. If you can't take care of yourself physically and mentally, how? How could you have clear goals? It doesn't make any sense. I am not going to take advice on how to lose weight from somebody who is that weighs 700 pounds. Now, if they weighed 700 pounds and they lost the weight, I'd be more inclined. Okay? Naturally. The point is this. If you don't take care of yourself, how could you find success? It starts with you. If I told you you have the keys and you have the locks, but mentally you're not there, physically you're not there, where you at? If you don't take care of your mental and physical well-being, commit to yourself, find the energy. If you're sick, get unsick. Mentally or physically, it doesn't matter. But without your health, you have nothing. You can't provide for your family. You can't service your clients. You can't help others if you can't help yourself. It starts with you. Not only does it start with you, it ends with you. And I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to recap absolutely everything, but take away a few of these things. Take away all of them. Come back and watch this again because it is being recorded. Take the time to better yourself and your business. The information is not only there, but it's free. Do it for you. Do it for your why. Do it for your reasoning. Because guys, selling real estate, partnering with agents, helping them see the light, giving them the tutelage and tools, the systems and the processes that they need to find success, there's nothing difficult about it. Nothing. I am honored to be able to be here on these calls on a weekly basis to share time with those of you who decide to watch this at a later point in time or to take time out of your day to be here. And I take nothing for granted. Nothing. And I ask for nothing in return because that's success to me. Being able to give back, being able to help you. That's the culture that we've tried to create here. And we hope we're doing a good job. But whether you show up to these calls or not, whether you rewatch, whether you watch it at all, it's not going to stop me from doing what I'm doing. Never has, never will. Because I know what my calling is. I know what my goals are. And my goals are to shape the lives of as many people as humanly possible. You think they just have to be agents? Wrong. That's just a bonus. I partner with people. I don't partner with real estate agents. I don't have agents. I have partners. That's who the people on this call represent. That's for the people in this organization. And I, although lofty, my goals to help change the lives of over 1,000 individuals. And if this is the vehicle that I'm going to use to get there, then so be it. But again, show up or don't, doesn't matter. I have the keys and I have the locks to my own success. Take with you a piece of this, none of it. It's on you. But just remember, you have everything that it takes. Go out there and take advantage of it. You guys are fantastic. I appreciate you guys. And what I'm going to do is end the recording, and then we can still keep going from here. Hi, Kim.
Hi.
Hey.
I wanted to show my vision board.
Oh, okay, I'm not ending the call for the record. Yes, please. If you guys have your cameras, turn them on or focus now to the screen. I love this. That's amazing.
Yep, and I have it in my office where I can stare at it all the time. I started last year making vision boards, and I did almost everything on the list, and I realized that the only thing that was not allowing complete the rest of the stuff on that vision board last year was not having enough time. And then that's when I decided I was starting this real estate business. So this year I made it a little more extra. There's a lot more stuff this year than there was last year.
That's
so we'll see how far I get.
That's so amazing. Kudos to you. That's great. You guys, this is we mean it when we say it. These things work. They absolutely work. Really, that's awesome, Kim. And it's funny that you realized that the only thing missing that you probably wouldn't have been able to figure out until a later point in time was more time. You know, that's unbelievable, but that's awesome. That's awesome. Anybody else want to add anything while we're here? Tom?
Well, you know how much I believe in, how much I believe in goal board visualization. And I took a college class when I was 22 years old. And the guy was talking about it, and I was like, this sounds kind of stupid. But I did it, and I've been doing it since I was 22, 23 years old. And my goal board is massive. It takes up my whole wall. But I'll say this, that I've never put anything on my goal board that didn't come true. And I put some crazy things up there. I put E6 in the military. I put a home that I could never afford. I put a Dodge Ram truck at that time that I could never afford. I saw my wife run up and down the soccer field my first day of doing it. I cut out her picture in the yearbook and put her up on the goal board. A little weird, but, we are married. There's nothing I ever put on my goal board that didn't come true. And I think a lot of it has to do with Maria Lauren would say manifesting your goals. Well, you're putting it out there to the universe. You're looking at it every day. When I do any kind of motivational speaking with young people, I always talk about goal boards. And their first day at Doane, I do a goal board with my basketball players. And the ones who think it's silly and don't put a lot of effort into it or throw it in the trash at the end of that first day, they never become the player that I think that they could have been. But the ones who take it serious seem to always become better than what they ever dreamed of. So there's real power in it. Smarter people than me could probably tell you why, scientists, people, psychologists, but I'm an unbelievably huge believer in goal board visualization, 1000%. I also think on my way out, it's important to live in the moment that you're in. Someone letting friends go is hard because we always want to romanticize old relationships. We always want to talk about that girl we dated 25 years ago. We hang on to relationships and things too long, and we hang on to seasons, and we hang on to guilt when people pass away for years instead of focusing on the season that we're in. And that's why sometimes we keep unhealthy friendships, we keep unhealthy people around us, is because we're constantly trying to relive a season that meant something to us. You've got to surround yourself with people that believe in greatness, because if you don't, you're going to sink to whatever they accept for their lives. And I see that with everybody that I've ever worked with. You show me your friends, and I don't like that guy that says this on the internet all the time. I think he's way too negative. But the one thing he says I like is, show me your friends and I'll show you your future.